A woman from California named Cat was one of the most evil people you will ever come across. This woman was responsible for hundreds of men being set up and robbed and beat to death. This woman also was the reason a lot of men was catching HIV, and a lot of men this woman would set up would get robbed and shot. But this woman wasn't always evil. When she was younger, she grew up in the church. She grew up in a loving family. When she was in school, she made A's and B's. But when she met her baby father, her life would turn and go down a very dark path. Let me explain. This woman met her baby father when she was 17 years old, when she was living with her parents. When she turned 18, she was pregnant with their first child. When this young woman started dating her baby father, both of her parents advised her to leave this man alone. They said he was bad for her. He was into drugs. He would hang around in the streets. He would always walk around with his pants sagged. Mind you, her baby father lived in her neighborhood. He would always come and knock on the door and ask for her. The parents knew him, and the parents didn't like him. He also had a lot of tattoos in his face. 6 months after they started dating, the daughter turned 18 years old. When the daughter turned 18 years old, she moved with her baby father. When she moved with her baby father, that's where her life started going downhill. The baby father started beating her up all the time. She would always come back home crying to her parents. Her parents would always call law enforcement on her baby father. Anytime her baby father would put his hands on her, she would always leave him for a week or two, but she would always go back to him despite what her parents wanted. Her baby father had a very long criminal history, and he was always in and out of jail, and based on his criminal record, he was a very violent person. Her baby father also had a very bad drug addiction, and he would always cheat on her. But this woman's life would take a very dark turn when she turned 20 years old. When she turned 20 years old, she was already pregnant with her second child, but it was only one problem. She had HIV. She caught HIV from her boyfriend that caught it from someone else. This woman delivered her second child, and her second child had HIV also. When her baby father gave her HIV and her child ended up having HIV, she was done with her baby father. She didn't want to be with him anymore. She didn't want to talk to him anymore. When she broke up with her baby father for the last time after he gave her and her child HIV, she tried to go back and live with her parents. Her parents didn't accept her back. Her parents didn't want her coming back to the house because several times she would leave her baby father after he would beat her up, and she would go to her parents' house just to go back. Her parents got tired of her doing back and forth. So when this woman's parents wouldn't let her come back, she ended up moving her 2 kids into a hotel. She started selling herself for money because she didn't want to go back to her baby father, and she didn't have anywhere else to go. So she started selling herself for money to provide for her 2 children and to pay her hotel fee every day. When she moved her kids into the hotel, at that point she really didn't care about life anymore, but she wanted to take care of her kids by any means. When she would sleep with men for money, she wasn't using any protection. She was giving the man HIV. Also, when she started selling herself for money, she started talking to other women that sell themselves for money. Other women introduced her to a strip club that she could work at without a license. When she started working at a strip club, she wasn't making as much money, but other women introduced her to another way she can make more money. Women showed her how to start setting men up and getting them robbed. The women at the strip club that introduced this woman to this new hustle, they dealt with nothing but drug dealers and stick-up boys. Stick-up boys is people that rob people for money. So the hustle is very simple and evil. If these women meet a man that want to sleep with them for money, if they meet them at the club, or if they meet them on the outside, they would text the stick-up boys or the drug dealers to come and rob them after they sleep with them. Most of the time, the man would be robbed before they even sleep with them. Sometimes they would get their car stolen. They would get pistol whipped. They would get shot. They would take their wallet, their credit cards, everything. Most of these women that would set these men up on daily basis will always get away with this sick crime because most of the men they set up and get robbed would not cooperate with law enforcement because they shouldn't be paying women for tail. Cat grew a name for herself when she started setting up way more men than anybody else. She would set up more men because she was more beautiful, and everybody called her Cat because she had cat eyes. But Cat took it a step further. She got tired of getting a cut from the stick-up boys and drug dealers. She started robbing these men herself. Cat bought a 380 from the streets, and when she was about to sleep with them men, she would put the weapon to their head and take everything they had. Some men she even shot. But when Cat started robbing the man herself because she wanted all the money to herself and she didn't want to call drug dealers and she didn't want to split the money with stick-up boys, that would end up costing her and her kids their life. One night, Cat pulled the trick like she normally do, and she tried to rob the trick. He wrestled the gun away, and he ended up shooting her in the head. head. When the trick shot Cat Eye in the head, she died instantly, but it was only one problem. Cat Eye used to leave her children in a hotel. She used to buy weekly hotels. Mind you, no one knew Cat Eye had children in the hotels. When Cat Eye died, her children starved to death. The hotel Cat Eye lived in was a very old hotel, and she lived on the top floor, and it was only halfway full. So no one never heard the children crying and screaming. Cat Eye gave countless men HIV. She was responsible for hundreds of men being shot. A lot of men died. This woman didn't care about life anymore. The only thing she cared about was taking care of her kids. So men and women, be careful who you involve yourself with, because if you get involved with the wrong person, they can have a negative impact on your life.